This morning, Congressman-elect Colin Allred, the phone call he got from George W., why he is backing Nancy Pelosi, and on what issue he can work with the president. Lots of new faces will represent North Texas next month in the legislature. Ross Ramsey on how that affects our influence in Austin. With President Trump in office, the military at the border, should Texas still spend $800 million a year to send state troopers there? And the future of the Freedom Caucus. Plano Republican Jeff Leach walked away from it. He's taking our questions in studio.
Inside Texas Politics with Jason Whiteley starts now.
Good morning. His resume could make him a Renaissance man. NFL player, civil rights attorney, and now congressman. In less than 2 weeks, Colin Allred heads to Washington. He defeated incumbent Pete Sessions and will now represent District 32, North Dallas, Richardson, and Garland. And Allred is our guest this morning just before he leaves. Good to see you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Jason.
Belated congratulations to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Let's start with something we just talked about off camera here. You just recently met with President George W. Bush here in Dallas.
Did.
How did this come about?
Well, he gave me a call after the election. I didn't recognize the number, so I didn't take the call. He left a message, and I called him back. And we set up a meeting. It actually got changed because of his father's death. So we were supposed to meet last week, and we moved it to this week.
What did he want to talk about?
Well, you know, we have a lot in common, actually.
Baseball?
I'm a huge baseball fan, was a huge Rangers fan growing up. He was a part owner of the Rangers. You know, he's a Texas guy. And just wanted to talk about the area, wanted to talk about what's going on. We talked a lot about our families. We had a great time. Wow,
interesting. Well, let's switch off to politics here, Congressman-elect. During the campaign, you would not commit to voting for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker. You've changed your mind. You're backing her now. Tell us why.
Yeah. Well, what I wanted to do was use my independence for leverage to make sure that we got what we needed here in North Texas, to make sure that my voice wasn't taken for granted, that also this incoming class, that our size and diversity would be recognized. And so I met with Leader Pelosi, talked to her about what I thought was important, made sure that our North Texas values were hopefully going to be followed and reflected in this, and decided that based on that, I was comfortable.
Did you get influence out of it, do you think, or was it something tangible that you walked away with?
Well, I think we're going to have some tangible things come out of it, certainly, and we already have. We're going to have a seat at the table in a way that most freshman classes haven't.
On different committees?
On different committees, but also just within the caucus, our voice is going to be heard, and we should be. We're a quarter of the caucus now, the folks who are coming in. But there are also going to be some tangible things that I think we're going to see in this new session.
Do you think she'll have the votes to take the gavel?
I think she will. I think that it's going to, I don't know how it's going to work out, but in the end, it'll come down. So.
Colin, you talked about getting a commitment from leadership from Nancy Pelosi on infrastructure in North Texas. What kind of projects right here in North Texas should be prioritized? Give some examples.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, there's a lot. We want to secure our future in terms of our water, make sure that as we continue to grow that we can keep up with that growth. But mobility is huge for us, and I would throw in there high-speed rail between Dallas and Houston. I think it's something that we need to be looking at as well. I know my friend Ron Kirk has been working on that. But we have a lot of concerns here. We're growing so rapidly, and it's not going to go anywhere. That growth is not going anywhere. We're going to double in size here not too long, and so we have to make sure we're ready for that.
Let's talk high-speed rail for a moment. Are you looking for federal backing of it, or what federal role?
Well, I want to make sure that we can clear any hurdles that are in its way at the federal level, and I think right now it's a privately funded thing, but there are some things that can always be helped in terms of moving that along. And I want to make sure I can be an advocate for that.
You talked about your colleagues. You're part of the largest Democratic wave in the House since Watergate, I believe. 66 new members. You're co-president of the freshman class. Congratulations on that. At least a third of them, though, are progressive, farther to the left. Will this group make it any more difficult for Nancy Pelosi to get things done, do you think?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of the brilliance of the House in that people come from different areas. They represent different values, and they have to represent their communities. And there are certainly some folks who are coming in who are further left than me, and probably further left than some of the folks who are there. But I think we have some common ideals that we know need to work on. And I really believe that some of these things unite our class around getting things done, and not just pursuing going down trails that aren't going to lead anywhere, maybe just over-investigating. I think we have a class that wants to deliver real results on healthcare, on infrastructure, and I think we actually can get some of these things done on a bipartisan basis.
On what issue can you work with the president?
Yeah, well, recently he's been talking a lot about prescription drug costs. And this is something that is important to us here in this area. I think if we put that bill together, if we can get it through the Senate, that he would sign it, and it would help our folks.
You defeated Pete Sessions, who was chairman of the House Rules Committee. Give us an idea of what kind of committee assignments you're hoping to get from leadership.
Yeah, well, I've asked to be on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. I don't know what committees I'll get, and we're going to find out later this month. And so we'll see where that lands. But wherever I land, I'm still going to pursue the same goals, and that's going to be make sure we can control the cost of health care for folks, invest in job training and higher education, and make sure that we're investing in our infrastructure as well.
And you keep hitting infrastructure. Mobility is one of the biggest things. Besides high-speed rail, what else is out there mobility-wise here that's really affecting North Texas that you can address from Congress?
Yeah, well, I actually met with some folks from our city council earlier today, and we can work on expanding DART and our infrastructure there, making sure that our light rail is able to get around, not getting held up. I want to invest in those things. We also, we're expanding our roads and all that, and that's important. But we got to make sure that we are keeping our eye on our water, our energy infrastructure, on our high-speed internet. All these things are going to keep growing, and the capacity has to grow with it.
And do you think you have a commitment from leadership to focus on those?
I do, absolutely. And I think that there's a recognition that infrastructure needs to be one of the first things that we deal with.
You just got back from Boston, where you were at the Kennedy Center recently. You were taking a deep dive into federal budget projections. All this stuff is going to cost money, except for maybe high-speed rail clearing the hurdles. But the rest of it will cost money. What changes can you make in the budget to pay for this?
Well, we're going to have to make some tough choices, and there's going to be some priority setting. And I think that's what a budget is. It's about setting your priorities. And we're going to make sure that we are investing smartly, that we are going after and tackling in every way we can, waste, fraud, and abuse, anything that is doing that. But there are, of course, some big drivers of our budget that we're going to have to try and get a handle on. And
such as
Medicare, Social Security. These are the long-term drivers of our budget. Social Security is in a different kind of bucket from Medicare, but there are some things we need to do to drive down overall healthcare costs that will help the Medicare system in the long run. Hopefully we can get some of that done.
Let's talk about the race for the White House in 2020. A couple of Texas Democrats considering a run for the White House. One of them is your old boss at HUD, Julian Castro, and then also former Congressman Beto O'Rourke.
Yes.
I saw the press release and the email from you guys that you're excited about your old boss joining the race. Which one is better positioned, though, to actually make some progress in Iowa, New Hampshire, and some of the early states?
That's a great question. I don't know. I know that I'm happy for both of them. I worked with Secretary Castro, and I know him well, and he's a friend of mine. He's been a mentor to me in many ways, and I'm excited that he's thinking about doing this. I think it's a good thing for our state that we have young, smart leaders out there who are considering this. I don't think we have a bad choice there.
Are you endorsing him officially?
Well, he hasn't announced, so I'm not endorsing him. I'm encouraging him to do it, and I think he should. I think that we need his voice as part of this process.
Congressman-elect Colin Allred, sworn in on January 3rd. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
When the gavel falls on the new legislative section next month, we've talked a lot about the changes we'll see. We haven't spent much time, though, on the changing influence. North Texas is sending a lot of new state reps to Austin and some new state senators as well. The question is, do new faces mean diminished influence for this part of the state? One guy who knows the Capitol well is Ross Ramsey, co-founder and executive editor of the Texas Tribune. Good morning to you, Ross.
Good morning. How are you, Jason?
Yeah, we're doing well, Ross. With all these new faces, does that mean North Texas has less influence or might lose out on some tangible items?
It means less influence at the beginning. You go into a legislature without the seniority of some of the other delegations, other people around the state. You have new leadership in the Texas House, where Joe Straus is no longer going to be the speaker. And, as you go down the pecking order, these new reps, whether they're from Dallas or Fort Worth or anywhere else in the state, are going to be at the back of the line, at least to begin with.
And one of the issues they might be considering at the back of the line is whether Texas lawmakers should keep spending $800 million a year on border security. With Trump in office, the military at the border, is there really a role for state troopers anymore? And will lawmakers, use that money elsewhere?
There's two questions there. Is there really a need for state troopers? They'll have to figure that out. And have to figure out whether they want to spend the money. The argument on the money itself has been, isn't this money that the federal government should be spending itself? And when Republicans were in control in Texas and Democrats were in control of the White House, that was always the argument, that they were spending money that the federal government ought to be spending. Now they have a Republican. Presumably they're going to go to Washington to try to get that money, and we'll see how they come out when they ask this time.
Is there an appetite, do you think, on the GOP side again to cut some of this money?
Yeah, they'd love to cut this and have that $800 million that they spend every 2 years on the border for something else, whether it's public education or roads or whatever their favorite program is.
Wow. Ross, back to you in just a moment. Thank you. 2019 will bring a new Congress and lots of people announcing a run for the White House. Our next contributor says that's why politics should remain top of mind this holiday season. Here's Debbie Georgatos from 660 AM The Answer with My Voice, My...
We celebrate the Hanukkah and Christmas seasons by giving gifts. America, founded on the promise that you have the right to pursue life, liberty, and happiness, is a gift of freedom from our founders, who recognize freedom as our Creator's gift to us. Today, prominent Democrats are selling socialism, marketing Marxism. Socialism, communism, Marxism are godless and rooted in collectivism. They've inflicted poverty and death on millions around the world. They have nothing to do with sharing, but require surrendering liberty, crushing freedom. Juvenile, ignorant enthusiasm for socialism cannot make this evil idea into a good one. Accepting socialism requires throwing away the freedom on which America was founded. Celebrate America at this Christmas season by advocating relentlessly for the precious gift of America's liberty. I'm Debbie Georgatos, and this is My Voice, My Opinion.
With a new speaker, Republicans are asking whether the Texas House needs the Freedom Caucus anymore. We'll ask Jeff Leach in studio. The Plano Republican was the first to move on from it. And Nancy Pelosi, the Christmas present for both political parties. She is the center of Flashpoint. You're watching Inside Texas Politics on WFAA.
Happy holidays. Stock up on gifts at Men's Warehouse.
Now through Monday, take 60% off designer suits. Designer sport coats are $179, plus all dress shirts are $3 for $99.
You're gonna like the way he looks.
Tis the season for sibling rivalry, and these siblings have been very good. Get this low mileage lease on this 2019 Cadillac Escalade from around $919 per month. Visit your Metroplex Cadillac dealers today.
Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's have plenty of last-minute gift ideas in stores and online, like Pro Qualifier Fish Eagle Spinning and Bait Cast combos for under $80. Plus e-gift cards from BassPro.com and Cabela's.com deliver nearly instantly for the perfect last-minute gift.
Try our DQ $4.99 options, like the craveable steak finger country basket or the dude chicken fried steak sandwich served with fries, now just $4.99 each.
DQ, that's what I like about Texas.
North Pole Tree Lot. Time for another random act of helpfulness.
Hey, everybody. Honda's paying for everyone's tree.
Really?
Today, we help spread holiday cheer, and during Happy Honda Days, we can help you too with a great deal on an award-winning Honda. Right now, you can lease a 2018 Accord LX for just $249 a month plus tax. And the Accord has been named 2018 North American Car of the Year.
That'll be 98 candy canes and 2 gumdrops.
Do you accept fruitcake?
Lady, nobody takes fruitcake.
We are the lovers and fighters and up all-nighters. We dominate, generate, appreciate, motivate, celebrate, and above all, we are the women who create.
My mom works for Chevy.
My dad works for Chevy.
We're all part of the Chevy family.
And right now, so are you.
Because our Chevy employee discount is now available to everyone.
The Chevy price you pay is what we pay.
And not a cent more.
Welcome to the family.
Use your employee discount for everyone to get a total value of over $13,000 on this Silverado Texas edition. Plus, get an additional $1,500 cash allowance when you finance with GM Financial. Chevy drives Texas. Find new roads.
Happy holidays. Stock up on gifts at Men's Warehouse.
Now through Monday, take 60% off designer suits. Designer sport coats are $179, plus all dress shirts are $3 for $99.
You're gonna like the way he looks.
The Texas legislature reconvenes in 2 weeks, and we'll see lots of changes, especially in the House, not just with a new speaker, but questions about the future of a prominent group of conservatives, the House Freedom Caucus. Plano Republican Jeff Leach decided to walk away from it this month, and he is in studio to tell us why. Good to see you again, man.
Hey, good to see you.
Why did you leave?
Well, look, my convictions, my conservative convictions and core beliefs, values haven't changed. I'm not compromising those. I'm still going to be a conservative advocate in the Texas House, but every member has to reassess their strategies, their tactics before every session. And look, Republicans this session have to unite, have to stay united, because we are united right now, and deliver on the promises that we made to our people, investing in public education, delivering on property tax relief. These are the things that are important to me, and I believe the best way to do that, Jason, is by completely committing myself to working within the House Republican caucus.
With a new speaker coming in, some have wondered whether the Freedom Caucus is needed anymore. What do you say?
Well, look, I mean, each individual member has to make that decision, and I respect those guys in the Freedom Caucus. They're my friends and colleagues. We're going to continue to work together. I will say this, that Representative Bonin, who's going to be our new speaker, is going to allow each and every member, the most conservative Republican and the most liberal Democrat, the opportunity not just to allow them, but to empower them, Jason, to represent their districts. And that's something that we haven't had a long time in the Texas House for conservatives, and I believe that changes this session under Speaker Bonin.
And what kind of reaction have you gotten from constituents?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. I mean, the people of Plano, Allen, Richardson, and Dallas, and House District 67 that I'm so blessed to represent are counting on me to go to work, to roll up my sleeves on their behalf, and they trust that I'm making the right decision that will empower me and allow me to advocate on their behalf. So it's been overwhelmingly positive.
Well, let's talk about some of the advocacy. What kind of legislation do you want to focus on come January?
Well, this election was a wake-up call. The legislators, Republicans and Democrats in the House and the Senate, know what our voters expect and demand and deserve. I've mentioned a couple: investing in public education, right, providing property tax relief, working on criminal justice reform, protecting the rights of our Texans, of Texans, and keeping the economy strong. These are the things that Texans want. They've spoken clearly, they've spoken loudly, especially to Republicans, and I'm convinced, Jason, that if we deliver this session, I'm convinced we will deliver, and I'm convinced that 2020 in the elections, the voters will respond accordingly.
Is there a hot button issue going into this session, do you think, that might attract a lot of attention?
Well, education is going to be the
funding
centerpiece.
Of education?
Funding of education, public education generally, of course, assessment and accountability, but funding school safety as well will be a big issue. You know, more so than it has been in past sessions. We have to deliver for Texas school children and our educators.
Final seconds here too. How do you expect the House to be different with Speaker Bonin, presumed Speaker Bonin?
I think we're going to sense a new wave of commitment to public service, to allowing the voice of the people of Texas to be heard loud and clear, not only on the floor of the Texas House, but in committee. Speaker Bonin is going to keep us focused on the big issues that matter, and like I've said many times this morning, to allow us to aggressively represent our constituents. And I think that's going to be a new, fresh wave of leadership in the Texas House.
All right, State Representative Jeff Leach, Plano Republican, thanks for coming in. We appreciate
Jason.
it. She had to cut a deal with younger Democrats, but it appears Nancy Pelosi will become the next speaker in the new Congress. Could she be a Christmas present for both parties? You bet. From the right, former Dallas County Republican Chairman Wade Emmert, and from the left, Rich Hancock from virtualnewscenter.com.
Thanks, Jason, and good Christmas Eve, everyone. Well, Nancy Pelosi is a Christmas present for Democrats. She will be Speaker of the House once again, but I wonder how my friend Wade Emmert feels about that as a Republican.
I think Nancy Pelosi is a Christmas present for Republicans, too. I mean, y'all continue to nominate folks that excite Republicans, and Nancy Pelosi motivates Republicans. Anything she wants, Republicans will oppose. And so if Donald Trump is going to have a foil, Nancy Pelosi is the best person to put up to that task, because I don't think she's going to fare well when Donald Trump flips the script.
Let me ask you something, because this is Nancy Pelosi has been a wedge used by Republicans at every election since she was first taken the Speaker's chair. The simple fact is that didn't work. That strategy of anti-Pelosi did not work. Pete Sessions used it hard against Colin Allred, and it blew up in his face. So why do you think Nancy Pelosi is such a wedge, similar to Hillary Clinton? She's been nothing but successful.
I don't know why you think it didn't work. She lost the speakership. I mean, the House flipped to Republicans.
In 2010?
Well, no. I mean, it flipped earlier than that. It flipped after the Barack Obama's presidency.
No, 2010, because look, Barack Obama got Obamacare in 2009.
The reality is Nancy Pelosi motivates Republicans to get out to vote. Nancy Pelosi is not an effective leader, at least not from the general population. She may do well among Democrats, but up against Donald Trump, I think there's plenty for both parties to look at and to criticize.
Nancy Pelosi works for Democrats because Nancy Pelosi works. Nancy Pelosi wins. Nancy Pelosi knows how to count votes. Nancy Pelosi gave us the Affordable Care Act and a lot of other things.
That's exactly right. She gave us the Affordable Care Act, which was immensely unpopular among Republicans and for the majority of Americans.
Look at it now. From the left, I'm Rich Hancock.
From the right, Wade Emmert.
Thousands of undocumented children will spend Christmas at the camp in Tornillo. Have they been forgotten, though, as time drags on? We'll talk about political will when we come back.
The biggest deals on the hottest technology gift of the season. You'll love the savings, too. Now during Hyundai Holidays.
Now get up to $4,750 in total savings or 0% APR on the 2018 Sonata. Only during Hyundai Holidays.
I've seen towns overgrowing, rivers overflowing, and running where they please.
Here's to making your morning routine a little better. The delicious Egg McMuffin, made with a freshly cracked egg. Breakfast at McDonald's.
Hey, it's your pal, the $6 Million Man. Remember how happy you were getting me as a kid? Feel that way again with a stylish Honda Accord during Happy Honda Days. It comes with a standard turbocharged engine and Honda Sensing, a suite of safety and driver assist features. Yep, they really did build the Accord better, stronger, faster. Wait, where have I heard that before? Get something you'll love during Happy Honda Days with great deals on the Honda Accord. Right now at your Honda dealer.
It's the holiday season, the best time of the year to unwrap the best deal on TV and internet from Spectrum. From $89.98 per month, call 833-300-8998. Spectrum TV has tons of free HD and free on demand, including your primetime favorites. Plus, with the Spectrum TV app, you can stream live TV at home or on the go on all your devices. Call 833-300-8998. Spectrum has the fastest internet starting speeds for the price, 200 megabits per second. That's enough bandwidth to keep everyone's devices connected while streaming, gaming, surfing, or downloading. There are no data caps and includes a free internet modem and free security suite. Get it all with no contracts and a 30-day money-back guarantee. 'Tis the season to save with Spectrum TV and internet from $89.98 a month. Call now and ask how you can save up to 40% on your wireless bill with Spectrum Mobile. Call 833-300-8998.
Load up on the smartest tools this holiday season at Nissan's year-end event. Take home the power to do more and save big on every Titan. Featuring best-in-class standard horsepower and torque. Plus, every new Titan is backed by America's best truck warranty. So you can be a Titan of the holidays.
Save up to $14,256 on the 2018 Texas Titan. Or save up to $5,500 on the 2018 Armada.
But you gotta get it now, before it ends.
The hottest technology gift of the season is on sale now during Hyundai Holidays.
Now get up to $2,000 in total savings or 1.9% APR on the 2019 Santa Fe. Only during Hyundai Holidays.
This is Inside Texas Politics with Jason Whiteley on WFAA.
Time now for Reporters Roundtable to put the headlines in perspective. Ross, Bernadine, and Bud are with us each week. Bernadine, of course, Channel 8's political producer. Ross, let's start with you, though. Thousands of children, undocumented children, spending Christmas on Tuesday in the camps in Tornillo, just outside El Paso there. Have they been forgotten, it seems like, as this is dragged on?
You know, it's not a headline as much as it was. They are among 15,000 kids who are still in U.S. custody, either separated from their parents, a small number, or a larger number who came over as unaccompanied minors. And it's turned into a terrific and expensive housing problem for the government. The camp in Tornillo is a tent city. that was initially started in June on what was supposed to be, or what was initially a 1-month contract that's been extended and extended. The question now is whether to keep that tent city open, whether to keep those contracts going, whether to move those kids into other U.S. facilities or to send them back in some way.
And Bernadine, there doesn't seem to be the political will to find a political solution.
I don't think the Trump administration does, because they actually don't know what to do with them. And then you have other headlines. You have President Trump's legal issues that are at the forefront. And it's convenient, I think, for those who don't know how to deal with the children or the young adults to deal with it outside the headlines.
But how long will this go on? Jason,
I don't think people realize that there are 2,600, nearly 3,000 teenagers sitting in one tent camp alone at a tornado. One of the lawmakers out there led an effort to send soccer balls to the camp so the kids would have something to play with. I'm concerned about their medical care. Apparently there's no mental health care whatsoever. It's just like a big dorm for nearly 3,000 teenagers all at once. You can only imagine the problems they're having, and a lot of these are Christian children that will have very little for Christmas.
And Ross, this can't go on forever.
The question is, how do you get out of it and what do you do about it? How do you wind down the number of kids that you've got in detention? How do you manage the kids who are still coming into the country? And you know, part of this is a policy hole. You know, they haven't decided exactly how they're going to accept or not accept kids at the border, and then what to do with them once they get here.
Let's switch off to another topic we've discussed here in the past few weeks as well, too, the Freedom Caucus. In the House, Bernadine, the Freedom Caucus seems to be coming unraveled. Plano Republican Jeff Leach kind of walked away from it. Since they don't have Joe Strauss to really oppose anymore, is there really much of a need for the Freedom Caucus?
Well, I think that the Freedom Caucus, I wouldn't say that there isn't a need for it. I think the focus should be different, because look at the midterm elections. You had a lot of either the conservatives who were members of the caucus won very, very tight races or lost. And I don't think that there's a stomach anymore for the type of social issues or the type of issues that the caucus pushes. So I think that they need to refocus. I'm not going to say that they're not needed. It's just that they need to put their energy somewhere else.
So Bud, does the Freedom Caucus have a signature issue anymore?
Well, I think they'll look for one. I mean, they don't get attention by blending into the rest of the Republican Party. They get attention by being the outsiders and the ones complaining. So I think they'll find a new issue. They still have this issue that they tried to bring up last session of having Texas completely legally outlaw abortion and challenging the federal government to come down and overrule Texas. There's a big talk about whether the legislature should just try to ban abortion, make the federal government change it.
And Ross, final seconds here as well, too. Do you still think that there might be others who walk away from that caucus? There are 11 members left now.
Yeah, I think you got to it in your initial question. You know, they existed in some measure as the opposition within the party to Joe Strauss, who's now gone. I think they're going to test out Dennis Bond and see where they stand on some of their issues. I think some of their issues are still there. And if they don't like the speaker, they'll reform.
All right, guys, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thank you for watching as well. ABC's This Week begins in just a moment right here on Channel 8. We'll see you again next Sunday. Hope you have a good day and a Merry Christmas.